LinkedIn lead generation tutorial for 2023 and beyond. It's been a little while since I've made a video like this. LinkedIn's changed a lot of things. So in this video, we're going to go over all of the updated and most resourceful things that you can do to make a successful sales pipeline on LinkedIn. So we're going to start with profile optimization, then move into how to build out your LinkedIn and Sales Navigator to treat it kind of like a cold outreach CRM. Then we're going to go into targeting, which is extremely important for any type of social media growth. And then we're going to wrap up with messaging and how to write a message that will actually get you responses on LinkedIn. Then if you stay till the end, we'll go over some bonus tips of the most valuable things that are working right now on LinkedIn at the start of 2023. To jump into it, let's go over profile optimization. So many people, when you Google profile optimization, will tell you a lot of things that don't work, especially if you're trying to do direct outreach and build an audience on LinkedIn. So many people that are offering advice are doing it from an SEO standpoint, just if your profile is going to sit there and you're not going to do anything with it. And that's going to be all the people that tell you to write a headline like, I help people grow on LinkedIn, or I help entrepreneurs get out of the 9 to 5 and grow LinkedIn profiles. Those are going to be the things that make you look like a salesperson and immediately put a bad taste in people's mouths. Your competition on LinkedIn inevitably ends up being what other people are doing. And most likely it's what the bots and the people that are leaving a bad taste in others' mouths. So what actually matters on your profile? The things that I care about most are the things that show up when you send a connection request, show up when you send somebody a message, and show up when you engage with somebody's content. So I'll show you what those things are. It's 3 things. It's your profile picture, your name, and your headline. Those are the things that matter the most for profile optimization. You can put a ton of time into everything else, but if those 3 things aren't good, your click-through rate, so to speak, is going to be terrible, and you're going to be setting yourself up for failure before you even get started. So what is a good profile picture? A normal headshot, keeping it a headshot and trying to make it so if somebody's on the homepage of LinkedIn, they can actually see your face. Too many people end up not zooming in enough. And then when you're scrolling through the feed, you can't even see who they are. So you don't want a body shot, you want a true headshot. Your name is simple enough. Not too much I need to go into there. Your headline, though, is where most people end up messing up. So you don't want to use a headline that's like this: helping sales professionals add an extra 6 figures a year by becoming unbeatable A players through overcoming anxiety and self-doubt. Not only is it a mouthful, sorry, Zach, who's a friend, but it's also just going to make it so people don't accept your connection request. They don't respond to your message. They think you're going to sell something to them, and just make it so the audience of LinkedIn doesn't look at you in a favorable light. So what should you do? You should just keep it simple and put what your actual title is. Lead with that. So I have pharmacist and co-founder / CEO of Uptown Creation. Then I go into the next thing, which is how I identify myself professionally. So guerrilla marketer, LinkedIn lead generation, Amazon dropshipper. Those are all things and ways that I establish myself and tell people about what I do without making it be a pitch or an elevator pitch. Then I ended up with something that's more personal about myself. So my personality type being ENTP. This is where I could even get a little bit better and put something more personal. LinkedIn's really starting to favor profiles that have a personality to them and doesn't just make you look like everybody else. You can check out my business partner, Connor Paulson. He has a similarly good headline, but he puts a little bit more about what he identifies personally as. So passionate about human relationships. I think that's a good way to end your headline. Now, the final thing of a profile that I care about is this featured section, because that's going to be where people's attention is drawn. So the featured section allows you to post and pin a number of things to your profile. So you're going to want to put your best LinkedIn posts, maybe a call link, maybe a link to your website, maybe a link to another platform that's going to offer some social proof. Anywhere that you want to drive attention, you want to put it there. Now, the final thing with a LinkedIn profile and how to optimize it is you're going to want to turn on creator mode. It's easy enough, but that's what's going to give you access to things like LinkedIn Live, LinkedIn audio events, newsletters, and a bunch of other tools. LinkedIn's really trying to make the platform a lot more creator friendly. So being able to tap into that early on is what's going to set you up for extreme success. Now, you can connect with me on LinkedIn if you'd like and mention in the connection request that you came from YouTube. And if you comment on this video, I'll go ahead and review your profile and give my feedback and tell you exactly what you need to do in order to make your profile even better. Now, moving on to Sales Navigator build out. Now, this is where you're going to have to stick with me. Build the lists that I go through. If you don't have LinkedIn Sales Navigator, there's a 60-day free trial link in the description below. Definitely tap into that. It's like $250 essentially for free by using that free link. Sales Navigator is the essence of what LinkedIn is, though. It allows you to keep track of things, and it allows you to filter using some of the best filters in the world. So I'm going to show you how to build out LinkedIn Sales Navigator in our proprietary way that nobody else I know of is doing. And this is just going to make it so you're able to keep track of the interactions that you're doing and make it so, you can put 20 minutes a day into LinkedIn and actually get results and keep track of it along the way. So when you first get to LinkedIn Sales Navigator, it'll look like this. You want to go to lead lists, and this is going to be where we build out kind of a cold outreach CRM. Now I'm going to want you to create the following lead lists, and this will make sense in the next part as we go into it. So connection request sent, and then you'll hit create. Message sent, create. Responded. Follow up. InMails, and excluded. So build out those 6 lead lists, and then we will move on to kind of building saved searches. So lead lists are the way that we're going to keep track of people, move them along a sales pipeline, so to speak. And then people will move into your CRM once they actually book a discovery call or take the next action. Saved searches are going to be where you're able to go back to on a daily basis once you kind of build out the structure. So you're going to have to make saved searches the first time that you go through, but then you can save them and make it so the next time that you come back to LinkedIn, you don't have to do that legwork again, and you can just duplicate those efforts on a daily basis, which I'll show you how to do. So saved searches that you're going to make is by clicking lead filters. And now what you want to do is do second and third degree connections. Choose your geographic location. Now what we're going to do is we're going to exclude all saved leads. And then just to make it be a double whammy, we're going to remove contacted profiles. Now, a big part of getting success on LinkedIn is targeting by people who have posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days, because those are the active people. I'll go into that next after we build this initial list. But this is just going to be the skeleton template to make it so you're not duplicating any work along the way. We'll go into job title, we'll go into current company and all those things, but making it be so second and third degree connections, as well as excluding all saved leads and removing contacted people, is what's going to set you up to make it so once you connect with somebody and you add them to a saved search, or to a lead list rather, they're not going to pop up in your saved search again. So what you're going to do is go ahead and save this as a connection requests, or you can call it send connection requests. And this is where you can come back every single day to send out connection requests. Now, the final saved search, and then we'll be done with the build out, is going to be first degree connections. And then lead list that you want to include is going to be connection request sent. And then we are going to want to remove contacted people. So what this is going to do is you just build a pipeline that makes it so you can send out connection requests, keep track of who you sent one to, and then they're going to automatically populate this saved search when they accept that connection request. So you don't have to do any digging around to see, who do I need to send a message to? Who do I need to follow up with? It's all going to be built out in Sales Navigator and at your fingertips. So we're going to save this as B send messages. And now you build out your 2 saved searches and you are ready to roll. We're going to refine that A connection request sent list. The B send message saved search doesn't really need to ever change because it's always going to be the same. but that send connection requests is going to be the thing that gets refined over time. So Sales Navigator build out, we built those 6 lead lists, we built the 2 saved searches. Now let's move into targeting. If you're getting any value from this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to our channel. I make tutorials like this where I give away everything for free, all of our secrets, everything. And I know that 2023 is going to be a great year for LinkedIn and for direct outreach. Now, moving into targeting, that's where we're going to use that connection request list. So something about saved searches is that they don't save over themselves. So what that means is whenever you save a search again, you'll have to delete the previously saved search, but that is okay. So let's just do an example where we are targeting for professional services and we want to go after CEOs. The most important part is going to be to target people who've posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. Why is that so important? Making sure that you're targeting active people on LinkedIn is the game. If you're sending connection requests and messages to people that don't check LinkedIn, you're already fighting a losing battle. So when you do send a connection request to somebody, let's say you send out 100, you should expect at least a 30 to 40% connection acceptance rate. And what you're going to do is you're going to hit select all, hit save to list, and that's where you're going to save it to that connection request sent list. And then what you'll do is you'll go down the list. You won't send a message in that initial connection request. You'll just send a blank invite and hit send invitation. The reason for that is because most people using bots or automation are sending a message there. So similar to the headline that we talked about earlier being an indicator that somebody's going to sell you something, writing a message in the initial connection request is kind of a red flag that somebody's going to sell you stuff. So you're going to go down the list and connect with 25 people each page, and you're going to do 2 pages a day. So you're going to connect with 50 people each and every day to give you 200 to 250 connection requests sent a week. And if you're able to get to that number, you're going to be sitting very pretty. Even if you don't want to send messages or do anything with this audience, this is the rate limiting step, and this is everything. So what most people do when they come to LinkedIn is they're at the homepage, they use it like a Google search, they type in Chief Executive Officer of SaaS. And if I type this in, this is going to give me trash results. I'm not going to get what I want. Most people give up on LinkedIn at this point. So the way to overcome this is by making the saved search that I showed you, and then primarily trying to focus on job title, industry, and current company. You can use company headcount and years in current position to kind of further refine, but job title is what I focus on the most, especially if there's a job title that I can make it be industry agnostic, but know I'm talking to the right person. So let's just say loyalty program. Now, anybody that is in charge of a loyalty program is going to come up with this job title then. And that is really powerful. And then we can choose other things. We can choose other job titles. I think for the purposes of this video, most people are going to be targeting, owners, founders, people like that. So that's where you're going to have to either add an industry or get creative and add in a current company. So as an example, if you want to target, owners of real estate companies, you could type in the word real estate into current company. The reason why I love current company and job title is these are 2 fields and the 2 only fields aside from keywords that you can freely type into. You might notice that I'm putting quotations around things, and that's just so I get the exact word or phrase. But to recap this whole thing on targeting, use the job title, use current company, use industry if you need to, and then sort by the people who have posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. LinkedIn will only actually show you 2,500 results at a time. And the reason why is there's 25 people on a page. It'll only show you up to 100 pages. So even though there's 4,000 people in the search, 1,500 of those people I would never see unless I found a way to get rid of them. So just keep that in mind when you're building searches out. You want to stay around that 2,500 number if at all possible. So just to recap, targeting the most active users, being careful of using too many filters, and a lot of times keeping it simple, using as few filters as possible to get your ideal target market or your ICP is going to be where the magic's at. And that is the skill aspect of a lot of this, is keeping it simple and being able to get the active people of who you're trying to target. So let's go through what you're going to do on a daily basis now that we built out this kind of sales pipeline within Sales Navigator. So now that we have these saved searches, what you're going to do is go into saved searches, go into send connection requests. And now this is built out. So all you need to do is hit select all, save to list, choose connection request sent, and then send those connection requests and just kind of go down the list, send out 25 per page, do it for 2 total pages, so 50 connection requests, and then move on to the next save search, which is send message. Now, this is where you'll be able to go in and it'll automatically populate with the connection request list, as long as we include that. So everybody that we sent connection requests to and turned from a second or third degree connection into a first degree connection will show up here. So what that means then is, we'll talk about message next, but you'll be able to go down the line and send out your message or personalize a message, if that's your style, to all of these people. Again, you'll hit select all, you'll hit save, and then you'll go to that message sent saved search, or saved lead list, sorry. And you'll save everybody to message sent. That'll make it so now you're creating this pipeline of, you send connection request, they accept, you send message, they respond, and that's where we'll go into the inbox and inbox management, where you can use the responded lead lists and follow-up lead lists as well. So moving on to messaging. The biggest thing is you want to keep it conversational, and a good way to do that is to read it out loud. If it doesn't sound like something you'd say to somebody in person, don't send it. This is where so many people get it wrong. It's better to send a message that's about 50 words long than sending something that's really long, really educational, has a bunch of jargon, has a bunch of numbers and statistics. Those are all going to be things that set you up for failure. So a few tips that will really help is, 1, don't start a message with hi name or hey name. That's what everybody is seeing inside their inbox. Everybody's starting with hey Chris, hi Chris. You need to stand out from that. A line that we use is, I know this is random, or you seemed like the best person to reach out to for this. Go ahead and steal that line and try it. I promise that more people will respond to you. This is such an easy fix. So we've talked about being able to target the most active people on LinkedIn. And now we've talked about sending a message that doesn't look like the rest. Literally choosing the filter of people that have posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days and coupling that with a message that doesn't start off with hi name or hey name is going to be the magic sauce that most of you need. Go ahead and try that, be consistent with it, and I promise you will get results, as long as you don't really mess it up in the rest of the message. So I know this is random, or you seemed like the best person to reach out to for this. That's going to be what gets them into the message. Now you need to keep them around. And that's where you can do a little bit of, this is why I'm reaching out. So I'm looking to speak with a few founders that know they should be doing more on LinkedIn to bring in new business. My name is Chris, and I help companies create LinkedIn strategies without using bots or automation. If you'd be open to it, I'd love to find 10 to 15 minutes to learn more about each other and share a few ideas. Then I drop my call link. Worst case scenario, I'll give you a few things to think about. Now, this is longer of a message than most people would recommend. I like this type of message because what it allows for is everything is laid out there. They have everything they need to be able to do and take an action. And I can follow up with these messages and refer people to the initial message. So I really like the strategy of keeping it short, keeping it sweet, being intentional and very transparent with the reason that I'm reaching out. And I think that that is what's going to work for you as well. Give it a try. And I think that you will like what you see. So hopefully this was helpful from a messaging standpoint. And now what I'm going to go into is the rapid fire tips of what's working really well on LinkedIn right now. So a lot of people don't know these things. So if you start doing any of these things, you're going to be ahead of most people. So one of those is your company page. As long as you're an admin on that company page, you can invite up to 250 people each and every month to follow your company page. Now, the reason this is powerful is it's just another way to kind of ping people about what you're doing and get a little bit of intent that they might be interested in what you have to say. Now, if you were to pay for followers, like pay LinkedIn ads for followers, it would cost you anywhere from $5 to $15 per follower. And you can invite 250 people as long as you're connected with them. That's the rate limiting step for all of this, is making sure that you have a pool of connections to be able to sift from. But as long as you have those connections, you can get 100 followers in a month. And if we talk about $5 conversion rate, usually that's $500 per month for free, just by having connections and doing this simple task of inviting them. This resets on the first of every month. So make sure that you're inviting people to your company page each and every month. Now, the next one is going to be LinkedIn newsletters. Now that you turned on creator profile or creator mode, like we talked about in the profile optimization, you're going to be eligible to have newsletters, have LinkedIn Live, and have LinkedIn audio events. Newsletters are an extremely powerful way to spread what you have to say. We've written 4 newsletters and already have 509 subscribers out of 2,200 followers. These are not big numbers at all. And this is with the minimum effort being put in on my part to be able to get, that number of subscribers, as well as content that I can share for other purposes on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's really going to reward you if you build things out on their platform and help bring attention to LinkedIn. That's a good thing to keep in mind just in general, is using the features that LinkedIn's coming out and that are new is a good way to make it so your profile is always rewarded algorithmically, as well as you show up in more people's feeds. So creating a LinkedIn newsletter, inviting 250 people to follow your company page. The next one's going to be invite 1,000 people to each LinkedIn event. This is something that a lot of people don't know, but LinkedIn events, once you mark yourself as attending, not only do you have the ability to view everybody else that's attending, which is a side note, but you can invite up to 1,000 people to each LinkedIn event. So if you are trying to get eyeballs on yourself, or you're newer, or even if you're an established business, you should be making a priority of hosting one LinkedIn Live each and every month with an expert in the space and just doing dialogue back and forth to get people in the door, get people looking at your brand. And a way to make sure that you get attendees to that is to have people invite up to 1,000 connections. The crazy thing about this is each LinkedIn profile can invite 1,000 people. So what that means is if you have a sales team of 10, you could invite 10,000 different people to a LinkedIn event. And that goes for every single event that you host. I have videos that I talk about LinkedIn Lives and LinkedIn events more. So I don't want to dive too into that right now, but this is probably one of the most slept on things on LinkedIn. And last but not least, sending 800 InMails each and every month. So InMails are able to be sent to people that you're not connected with. So it's especially good if you send out a connection request to somebody, they don't accept it, to be able to then see those people and filter through them to send InMails. Now, anybody that has this golden IN badge has an opportunity to have an open profile. Now, what that'll look like is if you click message, you'll see free to open profile. People can turn this off, but it's automatically opted on when somebody starts paying for LinkedIn Premium. So more often than not, if you see that golden IN badge, you'll be able to send an InMail. I like to start off with saying the person's name and 2 dots, and then using that same message that you've been sending to the new connections that are coming in. You do want to include a pretty clear call to action, and I'd recommend using a call link in this type of message just because you kind of have a one and done shot. They either are going to accept that invitation to send a message or they're going to reject it, but making sure all the information's there is really important. Hopefully this was a helpful video. I know